Expect in 2011 on the political front? Well, we are looking at a provincial election in October and possibly a federal one, perhaps in the spring. So having said that, there is a lot to talk about and a lot to expect. And it's likely that a number of issues will have an immigrant focus. Well, G.A Easwar, the publisher of Desi News magazine and Canadabound Immigrant, was in our studios recently to discuss the issues. So here we are, 2011. Some are saying this could be the year of change. A number of key things could be happening. We know that the federal government is looking at a number of things. Immigration is one issue. We also know that the human smuggling legislation, Bill C-49, has played quite a role last year and probably will play quite a role this year. Yeah. What would you say are the big issues that we're going to expect to come out this year? What is it, the kinds of things that are sort of popping into your mind?
I've been talking to the Desi community for a while now on federal election, if it is coming up, and if it is coming this year, what are the issues? And one common theme that comes right across is the word stability. The past few years have been one of turmoil. There was economic meltdown and there was this slow recovery, and people are looking for stability. And they want stability in terms of economy, they want stability in terms of their jobs, their livelihood. They want to see something stable. And if you cut through all the clutter, what it really boils down to is what people are yearning for. And I think that is what they will be, that will be the voting intention when they go to the polls should the federal election be held.
So let's say we find out that we could be heading to the polls in the spring. You know, for whatever reasons now that sort of happened. In the past, we voted in 2 minority governments. I think part of that, in terms of getting that stability, is having a majority government be brought in, where they can have a stable 4 years of whoever it is that's going to be in power. What do we need to do to get to that majority? We know that the federals, or the conservatives, I should say, have been lobbying very, very hard within multicultural communities to get their support in case we do go to an election, and in this case if we do. So what do you think it's going to take for us to sort of get over that hump and allow governing to govern?
It's a very big if. It takes 2 to tango, and I think that the opposition should be just as eager to have an election or to upset the government. And I don't think neither the Liberals nor the NDP are ready to change course or to have a quick election this year because they are not ready for it. I think that Michael Ignatieff's leadership of the Liberal Party is a very big question mark, and with Jack Layton wanting to increase his party's share of the votes from 1 in 6 voters in Canada votes for NDP, he wants to increase that to 1 in 4. He can't do that without encroaching into the Liberal territory. If that were to be the case, Liberals are going to be fighting NDP rather than fighting the Tories. If in that scenario, is Mr. Ignatieff going to really call Mr. Harper's bluff and call an election on any of the bills that might be coming to vote this year? I don't think so. I'm not going to bet on it. Or if they were the ones to precipitate a premature election, the public anger will be against them, so they don't want to do it. They are not ready for it. So from the beginning, Stephen Harper and his party have been ruling this country as if they were in the majority territory, and that confidence translates into people perceive it as somebody who's very confident, somebody who is a leader, a strong, decisive leader. Whether it's the human smuggling bill or any of those things, they have been doing what they think they should be doing, and people see that as confidence.
Well, we'll have to see whether that translates into giving people that stability. But I want to sort of move on to the provincial side of things, because we know we are expecting an election. An election is coming up in October. Both, you know, all provincial parties are gearing up and have been gearing up since last year. What do you think voters are looking for? We are hearing through the grapevine there could be a change of power. So what do you think voters are looking for in the province of Ontario?
In the province of Ontario, I'm just making a comparison between when the transition took place from Mike Harris to the McGuinty Liberals. There was a sense that the Tory government of Mike Harris is not really responsive to the public sentiment. and they were very rigid on certain issues. Of late, we have heard that the Meghandi government has had several flip-flops. They had a flip-flop on the eco tax on the household goods, and then there was a flip-flop on the so-called flip-flop on sex education for grade 1 children. When those things came up, people also saw it as a very responsive premier who felt that he could listen to people, and he's not the kind of a guy who is going to say that don't confuse me with facts. He was willing to listen to the people. So, so there is no immediate urgency for a change in Ontario, I think, although the media has been hyping this a lot. And I also find that within the Desi community, for instance, there is no name recognition for Tim Hudak. You say Tim Hudak, they say Tim who? There is no name recognition for him, and they really have no idea of what the agenda is. And Andrea Horwath, although she's a very activist, NDP leader in the Legislative Assembly, but in the public eye, she's not really there. So I think that there is no traction for to see which way the public opinion is swinging right now. There is absolutely none. I think that only when the election talk heats up, maybe around August, you will have a sense of direction as to which way they will go. But Mr. Meghandi has been very, very lucky in the past 2 elections. Last time, as they went into polls, that John Tory was supposed to win, and then he made that big mistake on the religious funding for schools.
Well, then I guess we're going to have to see how it all unfolds as, in the coming months as they gear up for the
election.
Very
interesting year ahead of us.
Okay, well, Easwar, always a pleasure to chat with you, and thank you once again for giving us your insight.
Angie, always a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.